Welcome to Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I'm Lara Cotter.
And I'm Sky Orchard.
All right, our question for the day, Sky. If you could travel back for one day to any decade, what decade would you choose?
Oh, I don't know a specific decade, but either like ancient Greece or medieval ages. Cannot pinpoint a decade at this time, but those would be the eras, I guess.
What would you do during your time there?
Observe, watch, swing around a sword if it's medieval.
I feel like you can swing around a sword and also have indoor plumbing now.
True, I do have my swords, but it'd be cooler if it was medieval and like ancient Greek times. Ooh, it'd be fun to go to Hierapolis, which has the largest necropolis in at least Turkey.
Wow.
Yep.
I was trying to think of places I could go where I could bring back something valuable. I was like, where could I get a good antique from? I feel like I would probably end up somewhere in the 1920s, like the Art Deco era. I think I'd bring back some fun decorations for my house from that one.
You know, I was thinking like antiques and valuable, and I was thinking you were going to sell it to become rich.
I mean, yeah, probably, but also like it'd be so much cheaper to decorate my front entryway the way I want to if I could just go back to the 1920s and buy stuff at the scene. So that's probably what I would do if it was just for a day. I don't think I'd want to stay there long term.
Yeah, there's things like, you know, depressions and fun stuff there.
Influenza. I already did one pandemic. I don't need to go back through another one. I don't need to go through any world wars. I'm good.
I have some bad news for you.
We're not there yet. I still have time.
We have measles in Utah, so.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the measles. I thought we were talking about world wars.
Well, that too. 2 for 1.
At least the measles don't seem to be too rampant yet. I mean, while we are definitely below the threshold of herd immunity, we're not too far below it. So I think we might fare okay on this, but we will see. I've been vaccinated. My family's been vaccinated. My niece has been vaccinated, and that's what I care about. That's all I can protect. All right, shall we get into the episode?
Let's do it.
This is season 2, episode 8, and I Gadda Sabrina. It is the time travel episode. We are here. I've been talking about it for a season and 8 episodes, and we are here. Our TV guide description is short this time. It is after Salem swallows a time ball, Sabrina's entire existence swirls back to the 1960s. Then we also have the Paramount Plus, and I think this was the Pluto TV description as well. A time ball sends the town of Westbridge grooving back to the 1960s. So I guess is your preference for the swirls back or grooving back?
Grooving.
I feel like swirls is more visually appropriate, but grooving is more fun. This originally aired November 7th, 1997. As we said, this was part of a whole block of time travel TGIF episodes. This episode was directed again by Gary Halverson, and we have writer Sheldon Bull returning. He wrote on the Meeting Dad's Girlfriend episode. We have a few guest stars. We have Mary Sue Milliken as one of the 2 hot tamales. She's an American chef, restaurateur, cookbook author, and radio and TV personality with a focus on Latin cuisine in the United States. And we also have Susan Feniger as the other 2 hot tamale. And that is 2 TOO, not 2 number 2, which I definitely thought that was. She's also an American chef, restaurateur, cookbook author, and radio and TV personality. And she is known for starring in the cooking show 2 Hot Tamales on the Food Network with Mary Sue. And they had published their 2 Hot Tamales cookbook in January of 1997. So this was clearly a promo for their show and cookbook. Then we have Wendy Worthington as Mrs. Pupines. Pupai Pens.
When did we get a Mrs. Pupine Pens in this episode?
The cafeteria lady, where she called her Mrs. Poopy Pants. And she's like, it's Pupai Pens.
Okay.
She's been in Bones, Melissa and Joey, Ghost Whisperer, Ally McBeal, and Good Burger. Scott Gurney is the college recruiter. He is from Baywatch, a producer on Duck Dynasty, a producer of America's Next Top Model, and he's also going to show up in a season 7 episode. Aaron Nelms is student number 1. He was in Time Cop, Boy Meets World, and Moesha. And lastly, we have Melissa Baum as the hippie clerk, but she was credited as Azura Farron. I don't know how you get Azura Farron out of Melissa Baum, but that's what she was credited as. She is from Days of Our Lives, Knots Landing, and Step by Step. What were your overall thoughts of this episode, Sky?
It was a groovy episode, man.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did.
I liked it. I want to sit down with my parents and make them watch it because, fun fact, if this episode was made today, the decade they would travel back to would be the 90s.
Less groovy.
We are as far away from the 90s now as we were from the 60s and the 90s.
Ruining my vibe, man. Ruining my vibe.
And then I started thinking about like what would be like the most stereotypical 90s episode? And I was like, there'd be so much plaid, there'd be so much grunge, there'd be so much cocaine. That would be the 90s. In our cold open, the family is eating dinner while Salem keeps asking for more meat. They tell him he needs to cut back on the food, but he protests that he is not fat and tries to leave through the cat door, but gets stuck. Have any of your cats ever gotten stuck in the cat door, Sky?
No, but just replace the cat door, and Riversong was offended that she has to like push it more because it's magnetic at the bottom this time.
Mm-hmm.
But she finally grudgingly goes through and doesn't expect me to open the door for her. It's like butler service.
I feel like they're pretty big, that you would have to be a pretty tubby cat to not fit through a cat door. There's definitely an episode later where Salem looks very large. He didn't look large in this episode. This would have to be a fairly rotund kitty. Our outfit intro is a clown, and Sabrina says, "Nobody takes me seriously. I'm still watching on Pluto and not the DVDs that I went through all the effort to get fixed." But it was funny because my ads were, "I Know What You Did Last Summer," the new movie that's coming out, and then an ad for the clothing store Buckle. And I was like, it really is the 90s again. At breakfast the next day, Salem is begging for food, but they make him stick to his diet. Hilda is looking for her landlubbers, which are pants from the 60s. Zelda threw them out years ago. Hilda has been waiting years for hip huggers to come back into style, and now her hips remain unhugged. Sabrina goes to run off to school, and I feel this for Hilda because I was very reluctant to get rid of my bootcut jeans back when skinny jeans started coming into fashion. Like, I resisted for a very long time. And then I started wearing skinny jeans, and now the skinny jeans are out and the boot cuts are back, and I've started buying boot cuts again. And now I'm just mad about everything.
Yeah, I'm ready for fashion to go back to the late 2000s for my skinny jeans to find easier than right now.
I'm just going to stick with boot cuts from here on out. I like them better. I should have never, like, I got used to skinny jeans and it was fine. I do like wearing them better in the winter time, so I can like pull up my boots up over my jeans. That was always hard to do with the boot cuts because the boots are supposed to go under, but I don't like how that looks. So yeah, so I am just going to boot cut jeans forever. I'm just going to stick with these and never buy any jeans ever again.
They're expensive nowadays.
They're so expensive. At school, Mr. Kraft is filling in for English class and is not happy about it.
I love that he enters saying, "I would say good morning, but I work in a public high school, so there are no good mornings for me." And then he also gives a dig about Bill Clinton signing FMLA because Miss Riley will be gone for 6 weeks on maternity leave, and he's stuck teaching.
And then there's also that cough, that loser from the first episode of this season that we get a call back to. And we get another, "I heard that," and he writes down the name of whoever it is. Mr. Kraft will be quizzing them every day, starting with The Waging of War instead of Emily Dickinson.
And I did search for a book of Waging of War by General Heinrich von Schlicht or whatever there, and it does not exist.
It does not, but I did find a book called Blood Diseases by Heinrich Schlicht from 2013.
Okay.
So it's definitely not the book or the Heinrich that they're referencing, but I did find that. I was assuming this was supposed to be a reference to The Art of War, and I was like, why didn't they just use The Art of War, which is an actual book?
Right. The size of the book they're handed is definitely like War and Peace size.
Yeah.
Art of War is pretty skinny.
So maybe they wanted something that was like Art of War, but fat. And so they just made something up.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some crazy military person from somewhere in history who has just written a ridiculous amount about war that they could have probably found something. But infancy stages of the internet and all that would have taken too long to find. In our next scene, Sabrina and Harvey are commiserating about their English assignment at lunch while Valerie complains about the yogurt. Valerie's complaining about something that's not a boy. Good job, Valerie.
Look at that character growth.
Valerie actually has like kind of a personality in this episode.
Took going to another decade.
I mean, women's rights may have been pushed back in the 60s, but that's where Valerie found her personality. Sabrina decides to take a stand and asks the cafeteria lady for new flavors. She proceeds to dump her coffee into Valerie's yogurt to give her mocha flavor. Sabrina's upset no one listens to them, and Libby offers that it's because they make a sound only other freaks can hear. Mrs. Quick reminds the class about the college fair so everyone can have a rewarding career regardless of color or gender.
But not if you're an uneducated adult.
And now every older generation, the millennials and Gen X, are like, why do you guys have so much college debt? Because this is what we were sold. You go to college or else you're a loser.
Agreed. Meanwhile, those who went into trades, sitting nice.
I need to find a plumber boyfriend.
Mario, you out there?
I will also accept electrician. Valerie asks Sabrina to write an article on the college fair for the school paper, and Sabrina thinks she's doing a great job as editor, which is a good reminder that Valerie is the editor of the school paper, because I feel like we haven't talked about that in a hot minute.
You know, for the most part, things were fairly consistent as far as things that had happened in the past. I was pleasantly surprised.
We're referencing a lot of stuff from the first episode or first couple of episodes in this one, so that's nice. I wonder if some of these were filmed out of order. And then, I wonder if this was filmed earlier in the season and then just played later. And so, they remembered. We'll see if this continues. We'll see if we get to the end of the season. Because end of last season still had references to beginning of the first season. We'll see if we're still getting some continuity by the end or if they give up halfway through. Salem is still upset over his diet and says he'd rather get locked in the dishwasher again. What happened the first time around?
Very soaking kitty cat is my guess.
Oh, how's that cat still alive?
9 magical lives or more than 9 lives because magical cat.
Yeah, that's a thing. I think that's a plot point for a later episode is that they do specify he has actual 9 lives. So maybe.
Ooh.
Okay. Hilda and Zelda are still arguing over the pants that were thrown away. Sabrina is reading The Waging of War, and Hilda says that she dated the author and he was a loser.
So Hilda's type and her life choices continue to be interesting. Schlecht, she mentions, took over a country. Drell obviously is, who knows where he is, like a despot. She was all for Salem's campaign of taking over countries and worlds. It's just interesting lady, that Hilda.
More points for her fighting for the Confederacy, for sure. I wonder if Salem had not been caught and turned into a cat, do we think Hilda would have tried to date Salem?
I think so.
You think that's why she was hanging around to see if she could get in good with him?
I like this theory.
Hilda just wants to be empress of the world.
I'd take Empress Hilda as a ruler.
Things would be a little chaotic.
I don't think as bad as...
No, I'm just imagining national seals and her design choices. What would that flag look like? There'd be cheetah print somewhere on that flag.
There would be.
If you would like to design the Empress Hilda flag for us, we are now accepting submissions. The quiz master shows up to give Sabrina a quiz, but first he needs to talk to his landlord about a mouse in his apartment, an other realm mouse.
These mice are 275 pounds, so I think would qualify as a rodent of unusual size.
We will meet this mouse at some point, so get ready.
Does it talk or does it just attack?
It's a trip.
Is it Mickey Mouse?
It is definitely not Mickey Mouse. Sabrina's assignment is to brew up something from the home supplement to her magic book, and he zaps a cookbook on her desk titled Brewing and Concocting with 2 Hot Tamales. Sabrina is at the laptop looking at the recipe for a time ball. You hold it in your hand and your surroundings become whatever decade you can think of. And boy, if these scenes are not short so far, and I was so struggling to keep up. Quizmaster is still arguing with his landlord about the mouse while he sits in Sabrina's room.
And on the corner of her desk is still that weird ceramic looking sandwich. It sort of has wavy layers like a sandwich instead of cake there, but it's on top of a velvet box now, so maybe it's a lid.
It wasn't on the velvet box before.
No, I'm just trying to come up with ideas about this.
But I also did see the egg later, but I didn't see the apple, so I think the apple's officially been destroyed by Amanda.
I wasn't looking for the cauldron.
I didn't see it. I checked, but we didn't see enough of her desk ever to see if it was on the other side of the desk.
It would have been cool if we got the 60s version, what they interpreted a 60s cauldron to look like.
Well, there was something on her desk that looked like a head, like a planter that was like a head or something in the 60s scenes. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I'm making things up. I don't know. So Sabrina has completed the time ball and it smells like sardines. She holds it and thinks of the 60s. We get some magical time warp effects and everything now looks like the 60s. The quizmaster comes down sporting a very large afro and tells her that she passed. Sabrina goes to pick up Hilda's pants from the original store, then returns home and sends everybody back to the 90s. Sabrina gives the pants to Hilda, and Zelda was wondering why they were in the 60s for a minute. Only witches notice the change. Mortals are under the spell. The ants then wonder about Tab and if they have any left. Zelda zaps open the magic cabinet, and they find Salem trying to get into a can of chili.
He states he would like a can opener on his Christmas list. Hilda points out that he wouldn't be able to use a can opener, despite him using phones and other things, and Salem replies the can opener is to hit them all with it.
And also, in this magic cabinet where they keep magical potions, because I checked and there were like fancy colored glass vials and bottles, they keep chili and Tab in this cabinet as well. But it needs to be magically protected. What is that chili?
Magical chili.
Also, I need to shout out my first grade teacher, Mrs. Pam Hansen, because that lady could down Tab like nothing other. And if you wanted to get anything for her for teacher appreciation, you knew it needed to be a 6-pack of Tabs. I'm now Facebook friends with her. So, Mrs. Pam Hansen, if you're listening to this, hello. Sabrina goes to bed after talking to Harvey and leaves the time ball on her desk. Later that night, Salem wanders into her room, following the smell of sardines. He eats the time ball but starts feeling sick. He decides to watch some TV and settles on the Mod Squad.
And I'm so glad the ugly couches are gone and we've returned to...
Is this the original furniture?
I don't know, it's a cream one and I was trying to remember. Cream couch is what Salem is sitting upon.
I'm going to send you this link to this image. You tell me if this is the same couch, but I think it is. I think we just went back to the original couch we already had.
Oh yeah, it is the original couch.
So what was the point of all that?
I'm assuming they returned the terrible couches and then lost a lot of their furniture from the basement. We didn't touch on it, but there was a special rocking chair from Sabrina's mother.
Yeah.
She was just like, nope, no sentimental thoughts about it, just give it to the termites.
Then you have another note.
Oh, yes. So on the Mod Squad, a critic once wrote, it's the hippiest and first young undercover cops on TV. Each of the three main characters represented mainstream culture's fear of youth in the era. The concept was to take three rebellious, disaffected youth social outcasts and convince them to work as unarmed undercover detectives as an alternative to being incarcerated. Their youthful hippie personas would enable them to get close to criminals they would investigate.
There's nothing criminals love better than a youthful hippie.
Right?
Also, Salem is talking a lot about Peggy Lipton, who was in the Mod Squad. She's also the mother of Rashida Jones. Did you know that?
I did know that.
I think I knew that, but I keep forgetting that fact. She was also in Twin Peaks and then like an episode of Bewitched, Rules of Engagement, Psych, and Angie Tribeca. And she unfortunately passed away May 11th, 2019. And she was only in her 70s. She was fairly young when she passed. But she was a gorgeous, gorgeous woman, which makes sense because she made Rashida, who was also a gorgeous, gorgeous woman.
Yep.
The next morning, Sabrina wakes up in a very 60s room and she cannot find her time ball. Bummer. And I love those bedside tables. They're like hot pink and have some really cool scroll work on them. And I want those bedside tables.
Maybe you should go back to the 60s for your furniture.
They do not match my decor, but I love them. The ants are enjoying their 60s morning.
They're enjoying it by eating wheat germ. The definition of wheat germ is a nutritious foodstuff of a dry, floury consistency consisting of the extracted embryos of grains of wheat. And I did not know wheat could have embryos, so I learned something.
Doesn't anything that reproduces can have an embryo?
I don't think we talked about plant embryos in biology.
You're eating wheat babies. How dare you, you monsters? Aborted wheat babies.
Careful, you're going to get in trouble.
This is why we don't record during the day. We're too awake now. They love that Sabrina is playing with the time ball, but she's not. It's missing. They search her room, but can't find it. Sabrina doesn't want to be stuck in the 60s forever. And I just love the styling that went into this episode. I love the outfits. I love the decor. It was well done. Meanwhile, Salem takes a nap in some warm laundry straight from the dryer, and he dreams of Peggy Lipton. Sabrina still has to go to school, but the ants will keep looking for the time ball. Everyone at school is in the 60s. Valerie is getting her skirt's length checked. She passes and then immediately rolls it up. Harvey arrives and announces he just bought a VW bus. Sabrina goes to make a call. She calls home where Hilda just found her old guitar. The aunts have not looked for the time ball, and they are maybe stoned.
I would assume so.
Definitely what they were going for. The bell rings at school, but no one moves to go to class because that bell was the man's bell. Sabrina is frantically looking through her book, and Harvey asks why she's so stressed. She's worried about the quiz on the waging of war. Harvey starts a "Stop the War" chant that Mr. Kraft joins when he comes into the classroom. Sabrina tries to ask a question about the quiz, but Mr. Kraft freaks out. The whole class is going to go outside today to talk about the dangers of the U.S. becoming a police state. 60 years later. Time is a flat circle. They then start singing Kumbaya, and Sabrina is starting to enjoy this. Salem is still asleep at the laundry, dreaming that he's in the mod squad with Sabrina, Harvey, and the quizmaster. I love that Harvey is in Salem's dream. There's a sit-in at the cafeteria against the lack of vegetarian menu. Harvey leads a no beef chant because Harvey is really into chants.
He's moved on from mailboxes.
Oh, yes. The 60s Harvey is all about the chanting. 90s Harvey's all about the mailboxes. The cafeteria lady comes out and announces that they will start serving a vegetarian menu. However, behind her, there's a signboard that has like the different options for lunch on it. And there's definitely something that says vegan sandwich. I didn't pause. I kept meaning to, but I was just like, I want to get through this. I saw something that just said cheap. I don't know what I was referring to. So they're going to start serving a vegetarian menu, even though they have a vegan sandwich on the menu. Sabrina is shocked that they listen to them. Libby arrives, still all about grooming, shopping, and social climbing. And the kids start a freak power chant that drives Libby out of the cafeteria. And they spent so much time on the styling of this episode and then just gave Libby her normal cheer outfit. They did not change Libby at all.
Yeah, that could have been a little better.
I mean, I know her cheer outfit already is a little like old school looking, but they could have gone with a longer skirt at least. The aunts are meditating when Sabrina calls again to tell them not to worry about finding the time ball. This era rocks. And Beth is gorgeous and I love her outfit, but there was a surprising amount of cleavage for a TGIF episode in that shot. It was very prominent.
She burnt her bra.
That is a lot of lift for not having a bra. Good for her. Sabrina gives her article to Valerie, who is confused. She's not the editor. She's a girl. She's the secretary of the Future Homemakers of America Club, Chapter 732. Sabrina's confused. She turns her questionnaire in at the Franklin and Lee booth next, and now the rep is confused. Did I talk about Franklin and Lee already? Did I skip something? Hold on. Yep, I totally missed that line because we were talking about if you're an uneducated adult, and then we started talking about college and why we're now all in debt over college and the trades. And then I completely missed the bullet point after we talked about Valerie being an editor. My bullet point says Mrs. Quick introduces Sabrina to the Franklin and Lee rep, and he gives her some materials to look over. And I completely skipped that. So back to where we actually are in the episode.
We're just going out of time.
As I said, definitely earlier, Sabrina talked to the Franklin and Lee rep, and now she has her questionnaires that she turns in, but the rep is confused. He sends her to the Sarah Lawrence booth instead, which is a fantastic school, by the way. Sarah Lawrence is not a second-tier school. And he turns his attention to a male student. Sabrina insists that she wants to go to Franklin and Lee, but they're a men's college. He implies that she just wants to go there to find a husband. Sabrina's outraged and complains to Mrs. Quick. Men rule the world, and they do it by oppressing women. Mrs. Quick starts to take off her bra to burn it, and then says a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. Harvey shows off his new cartridge for his 8-track. Sabrina is still venting about Franklin and Lee refusing her because she's a woman. Harvey's confused why she needs to go to college. Their plan is to drive around in his van, grow their own food, and for Sabrina to have his kids. Someday he might even marry her. And Sabrina storms off.
And this is where we lose a moment of consistency. That's not her boo.
It's 60s Harvey, and 60s Harvey is kind of misogynistic. So maybe 60s Harvey and 60s Sabrina never broke up. He's obviously clearly like not one for commitment if he says he might marry her. So, but they're going to also spend their lives together. Hilda and Zelda are eating fondue and Sabrina storms in. And I know I just said she storms off in the last paragraph, but I couldn't think of a synonym and I was tired.
She be storming.
And then she just like dumps her jacket / poncho thing onto the floor. Like she just throws it on the floor and walks off. And I was like, okay, Sabrina girl, who's going to pick that up for you? Finally, Salem wakes up and arrives in the kitchen. Sabrina smells sardines on his breath. He ate the time ball. He can't give it back. It's in his stomach. So Zelda gets the furball medicine, but Salem runs away, refusing to take it. They chase after him, but now he's skinny enough to get through the cat door. What do? And the porch is screened in. There are screens where there were no screens before. We have finally screened in this porch.
Was there a cat door on the porch as well? Was it a double cat door situation?
Well, now I have a new thing to be upset about. maybe the like porch door doesn't like really lock. Maybe it's just like a swinging door, so he could just like push through it. I don't know. I don't think there's a cat door on there though. How did he get on the other side of that screen? If all the screens, everything's screened in now. He can teleport. So at this point, this is where we would then go into the Boy Meets World episode. However, we're going to skip to the end tag. So we're back in the 90s. We've gone through the other 3 TGIF shows, and Sabrina and the Ants are folding laundry. The Ants are saying that the 1560s were even worse than the 1960s.
You can spend all day sharpening his axe and cleaning his musket, but you aren't even allowed to kill your own dinner, tells Zelda.
Salem asks if he can come out of the litter box, but they tell him not until they get the time ball back. They're all actually glad he came back, and apparently he was gone for a week. So the other 3 episodes are going to take place over a week. Salem then asks for a magazine. So our next episode is actually going to be the other 3 TGIF shows, but the episode after that is going to be season 2, episode 9, which is titled Witch Trash. Sky, what is it about?
I'm trying to remember because I think that was on the AI one too. I don't remember
was.
if I failed or passed, but it was Hillbilly Cousins, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Redneck witch trash. Let's do her.
And I think Valerie and Harvey get caught up in the hijinks of what happens. They get like trapped in the house or something.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Are we going to have like a previously on going into witch trash, or it's really just dependent on you must go watch these other TGIF shows to have the conclusion? Like I know a lot of crossover episodes, like say Buffy to Angel, there's at least like a previously on if you didn't go to the other show and watch it.
No. They do not care that much about continuity, and in syndication, it would air this way where it'd be all 60s and then the end tag where it's concluded. So no, there's not going to be a previously on to show you that conclusion. You have to watch the whole thing or you're just out of luck.
Okay.
We're going to have a lot to talk about the Genie episode, I think. Or not Genie, sorry, the Teen Angel one. It's going to be interesting. Until next time, you can email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at somethingwitchypod and TikTok at something.witchy.pod. Until next time,
Stay magical.